Welcome to the Unboxing the Office podcast. Corporate culture, health and wellness, they are all connected, and we're going to dig into that today. Today's guest, Pedro LaTorre, author, speaker, and coach who's worked for nearly 2 decades to help leaders live with clarity, courage, and purpose. From a baseball injury that changed the trajectory of his life to a touring musician, honestly, that's one of my favorite parts, to being mentored by world-renowned speakers, to helping to build a consulting group. This gets to me. Helping to build a consulting group that's delivered hundreds of millions of dollars to global causes. Pedro's the founder of Purpose Academy, a trusted voice on emotional health. Now you know why he's here. Pedro, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, man. I'm happy to be here.
It's my honor. For this podcast, the hits keep coming, and Pedro, I was very happy to lure you onto our program.
No, it didn't take much, man. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, but first, a word from our sponsor, Hot Logic, the only known alternative to the microwave for the corporate break room or the micro market. No longer wandering into the wilderness of fast food, your valued team members offered a hot meal on their schedule. Finally, you can give them their time back. Now back to the program. Pedro, I don't even know where to start with you.
That's not the first time I've heard that.
Can we talk about being a touring musician?
Sure, let's talk about it.
For Christian hip hop. Do I got that right?
Yeah, that's where it began. Mm-hmm.
Now you have the persona.
I do.
Right?
Okay.
Right?
I'll take it.
I don't want to say boy band.
I'll take it. If I still got that in my almost 40-ness, I'll take it.
You got some charisma.
Okay.
How did that happen?
That's a great question. I'm still trying to figure that out in hindsight. Oh man, there's a story behind how it happened. Actually, I was pursuing baseball and got injured, and we could talk about any of this you want. But I found myself kind of just going like, what's next in life? Like, where am I going from here? I had a friend, one of my wife's family members, who was a touring DJ with a Christian artist, a guy named KJ52, and he was sort of at this like kind of peak of his career. So this dude's traveling all over the world, playing shows in front of millions of people a year. And he kind of asked me to like fill in for something one time. And it was like, you're like a youth group kid. Like, you could play drums, right? And it was kind of that thing. And I was like, I think like, I don't know. And I ironically grew up playing his music. I learned to play drums to his records when I was in Atlanta at the time. And by this time, I'm in Florida. And so I never told him that. I didn't tell him that till way late in our time together. But, man, I just started filling in. I filled in a couple dates, and then I had to audition kind of officially, and then it turned into touring all over the world playing music for
that is crazy.
A decade. And I got to play with several different artists during that time. But
you did that for a decade?
Yeah, I lived on buses and toured all over the world, and
Where is the data?
Insane.
Most folks would think that you've just had a rocket strapped to your back. You were born with a silver spoon. You had the way paved, right? The helicopter parents, and just clearing all the obstacles. That must have been your path.
definitely not.
I got that wrong?
Yeah, that's not it.
Talk to me. Where did I go wrong?
I mean, I had great parents that definitely believed in my gifts. I think it's funny. I'm an open book dude, so I'm gonna be real honest for a second. About a week ago, my mom actually texted me, and she was like, growing up, and she was sending me like a voice thing. She said you were really tough to raise because you had a lot of gifts and you had a lot of talents, and I was scared I was gonna like mess it up, like I'd miss which one you were supposed to do. But as you got older, I started realizing just all of these were just a part of who you were. And so my mom and my stepfather bought me a drum set in Atlanta, Georgia, and they threw it down in the basement very far away from everyone else. There was no lights down there, nothing, so I could only play during the daytime. And I'd come home from school and I would just go crazy on these drums. And I was pursuing baseball. Like baseball was really the dream. So drums is just like an outlet I just did for like fun. But yeah, I started playing KJ's music in that basement. He had an album out at the time called Yearbook Missing Pages. And and I just started learning the patterns. It was just pattern recognition. And honestly, that's been my whole career as a human. Like, it's just been pattern recognition, whether it's heart-centered leadership, whether it's business, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it's relationships, whatever it is. It's like I'm good at seeing patterns. There's a lot of stuff I'm not good at. I'd rather not talk about on the podcast. But
we're gonna bring that up.
But pattern recognition is something I'm pretty good at. So man.
So how do you go from the stage of a touring musician to working with organizations on leadership and heart-centered organization?
It's my life is a series of like, oh gosh, what just happened? Oh, that's what we're going to do now? Okay, cool. Like, that's my whole life. It's like, there's no like cool way to be like, well, I just sat around one day and I was sitting in a library and I pontificated and I figured out this thing. And it's not that. It's honestly what I just said. It's recognizing the patterns in my own life of what was happening. So I was pursuing a professional baseball career, trying to be like my father. My father was a professional athlete, played minor league baseball with the Giants and the Cardinals.
Wow.
And so I really wanted to be like my dad in that way. And I knew I had the gift and the talent to be able to. Got injured my senior year of high school, had several different minor league teams, interested in me. Got injured, tore my rotator and my labrum on a swing.
Wow.
And so to me, it was like, okay, I think my career's done. And then just kind of I had this passion of drumming that sort of kept me going in the background, right? It was just a way to like process emotion.
But how old were you when you were injured?
I was 17.
So in most 17-year-olds, that's a crushing blow.
And it was.
That they may not recover from.
Yeah, it was that. It was really tough. It was really tough. It was a very depressing, dark kind of season of life. And I met my wife way back then in high school, and we fell in love.
High school sweethearts?
High school sweethearts.
One of those.
We just celebrated 15 years married.
Congratulations.
Which is wild. We got 2 beautiful children. So again, pattern recognition. Okay, this injury happens, but it gives me time to get still, which I believe is a secret to success in life. Getting still, getting curious about my inner world. Okay, what's going on? Why have I been chasing baseball? Why do I want to be successful at baseball? And a lot of that for me was just my desire to be loved by my father and impress him and be known by him, none of which he asked me to do. It was just my little kid brain of trying to reconcile. Parents divorced at 7. Dad said, hey, take care of your mom, take care of your sister. You're the man of the house. When he left.
At 7.
At 7.
Wow.
And it was just his way. Again, I've had a lot of these conversations with my family. It was his way of being like, how do I tell a 7-year-old kid, like, I'm leaving, and then he's got to like step up a little bit, but without and he didn't have language for that. And so I just kind of followed, I followed in his footsteps. The injury happens, and then drumming kind of serendipitously sort of starts unfolding. And I just start putting pieces together. It's like, okay, maybe God's doing something in this thing, and it seems like he's doing something in this thing. And then I got asked to speak somewhere for a Major League Baseball thing for the Minnesota Twins, and it was like a chapel thing.
Okay.
And I was scared out of my mind because I didn't know how to speak. I'm an introvert by nature, so I'm like, oh my God, like real baseball players, like they're gonna, like.
And how old are you at this point?
I'm 19 years old.
At the age
by
of
this
19,
time.
you're walking onto the stage.
Yeah, no, I'm walking into the like the locker room, you know what I mean? Like into the room down in Southwest Florida where they do their practices. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to talk and like about God in front of like baseball players, And so I was super nervous. I remember like literally just shaking, dude. I was shaking. I had no idea what I was doing. And the coach at the time, he came over and he was like, hey man, you nervous? And I was like, yeah, I'm really nervous. And he was like, you speak Spanish? And I was like, no, I don't speak any Spanish. He was like, why do you ask? He said, well, your name's Pedro. And I'm like, yeah, right. I don't speak any. I'm Puerto Rican, Cuban. I don't speak any Spanish. And he goes, well, this might help your nerves. None of these guys speak English.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, all right. So I literally like did a whole message in front of dudes who like had no idea what I was saying. They were looking at their phones and they were kind of just checking the box. But that was like the beginning for me of like,
that's great.
Being like, oh, but I could serve people with like words. And it didn't have to be a baseball. Right. It doesn't have to be drums. So my whole thing is like using my gifts to be of service. And so that was the pattern. I was recognizing a pattern.
But having the ability to recognize when doors are opened.
Yeah.
Because it happens.
It does happen all the time.
You have to be present.
Yes.
To see it.
That's the key.
Because I think I suspect this happens all the time.
Yes.
And folks don't see it.
Yes.
How did that happen?
Presence, bro. You just said it. I'm moved just hearing you say it. It's stillness. It's there's three
Well,
things
you were a
that
kid.
yeah.
You're 19.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You don't know nothing at 19.
Yeah, maybe. I grew up really fast, and I think everyone has it in them though to get still. Like I say all the time, like I think the meaning of life is to be where you are. Like I think that's actually the whole point of everything.
That's good.
Because I spend a lot of my time back there or out there in the future. I spend little of my time in the now, and I have to fight for that. The older I get, I went to 13 schools in 20 years. I lived in 5 different states.
Wow.
Life did not want me to be present.
Wow.
But when you're present, you're really powerful. Because you see things, you see patterns, you notice things, you see pain, but you also see potential where other people don't see potential. And I think that's what makes great leaders. I think that's what makes great parents. I think that's what makes great companies is the ability to be present. Actually, you think athletes. I mean, I don't know if you ever saw The Last Dance with Michael Jordan.
Yes. Yes.
One of the things after he was celebrating, I don't know if you remember this, but he had just won one of the many, and he's just, he's the GOAT, he's the guy, and the news people just keep asking, like, are you coming back next year? That was the big thing, if you remember that era.
Yeah.
Are you coming back next year? And he just goes, man, come on, man, let's just be right here. Let's just be right here, and
yes.
let's just be where we are. Let's just be in the moment. And he's playing the piano up in his room, and all these press people. And I kind of hit pause when I was watching this. Ironically, I was on a tour bus. I'm traveling all over the country. I'm in hundreds of cities a year, and I would watch The Last Dance over and over and over again, really for that line. And I was like, look at all the crazy in his life. There's nobody on earth that can say they're as busy as Michael Jordan was.
Sure.
And yet the most successful, the most successful among us, arguably maybe the one of the greatest at doing what he did, one of the greatest at his job of anyone on the planet. And he talked more about presence and being present. Anybody who's with him was like, he was just like with us. Like he was just there.
Yes.
That's an interesting quality. And some of that comes from a level of loneliness that he got acquainted with. And that loneliness is either going to drive you to being insane, or it's going to drive you to being insanely good at what you do. Introspection is a powerful thing. Looking within is a powerful thing. I got the gift of suffering at a very young age. And I mean that.
Yes.
Like I got to suffer at a really young age. I hated it then. Oh my God, I hated it. But I got micro suffering so much, so consistently, that it's like cold exposure. Eventually you start learning like how to thrive in places that other people try to avoid. And I'm really grateful for that. And I still get doses of that pretty regularly now. And I think the higher you go with being of service to the world, the more you have to be willing to look within yourself. Because I believe purpose is ultimately inside of us.
Well, you mentioned life did not want you to be present.
No.
When you were in it, and just to drill down on this a little bit further, at some point, did you recognize, in suffering, of course, did you recognize that you were under attack, or was it revealed to you that you were being prepared? Which way did you go?
Yeah, I think both. To be honest, I think that almost feels like a left foot and a right foot to me, and the dance was happening of purpose, of growth. Yeah. I felt both. I felt the attacks. I felt the sadness of my dad not being in the stands at games. I felt the broken home thing. I felt my mom's needing a leader, and no one was really leading her. And I saw 2 failed marriages before middle school. I watched my mom battle her own demons and her own issues, and still is, both my parents in their own ways. And so I think it's both. I think I felt this, oh my gosh, this is horrible. Like, and I also felt this, like, this might be the pattern. Why is this the pattern? Why am I having to walk through this? And I had a mentor in my life that said to me some years back, but he said, wring the rag. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, wring the rag. He was like, you may not be back here again, Pedro. You need to milk this for all it's worth. And that began to shift my perspective of suffering, like, and difficulties. Like, wait a minute. We're all thinking about, like, how do I throw the rag out? How do I burn the thing? Like, how do I throw it in the trash can?
Sure.
How do I avoid the pain and the suffering? And this guy's telling me to, like, squeeze it for all it's got to teach you. Well, that's a different perspective. And that's become my life's work. I mean, my work quite literally is like wring the rag on suffering, on pain, and on difficulty. Why? because then you have something to give to others.
That's extraordinary. All right, so married now 15 years. Now,
Yeah.
you're obviously, your parents, difficult path, divorced twice.
Yeah.
I come from, my wife and I both come from a similar background. How do you ascribe the success you've had? You had no model. Today in modern culture, there is no model of the successful marriage. It's only divorce.
Yeah.
Everywhere, all the time. How are you able to push through? 15 years. You're you're on your way.
Yeah. That's a loaded question. There's a couple parts to it. So
your wife is watching.
Yeah, that's right.
Hi, honey.
There's a couple parts. So there's the first part of it. Yeah, exactly. There's the first part of it where, my parents weren't able to stay married, and there was a lot of dysfunction, but also there was a lot of traits within both my parents that were still very good. I had to go through my own healing journey in order to be able to see the good, because when you suppress your heart, which is what I did for a long time, I became very performative. I became a performance addict. I was addicted to performance, right? And when you suppress your heart and you push it down far enough and hard enough, and you're like, man, I don't want to feel this pain. I'd rather just work. I'd rather just earn.
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Then you can't see, you not only wall yourself off from the difficulty, but you also wall yourself off from the beauty of life. So now I can't see the good that is in my parents. And I couldn't for a long time. Be honest with you, like, we had this conversation 10, 15 years ago. Like, I was angry, I was bitter, I was hurt, I was resentful. There were so many things. And now, man, I can see, like, yeah, sure, my parents didn't stay married. Sure, my dad and my mom divorced at 7. But man, there was a lot. My dad had a lot of good in him, and he did fight for his marriage in ways. And my mom has a lot of good in her, and she did fight for her marriage in some really beautiful ways. And they're just humans. And honestly, they're two people that didn't get the healing they needed fast enough. And ironically, I needed them to be that, because otherwise I wouldn't be doing what I do.
Sure.
I wouldn't be creating healing in the world. So if you're going to create healing in the world, this goes for anybody's purpose. It goes for any leader, any purpose, anybody listening, any person listening. Whatever you're longing to create in the world is often you have to have the opposite, right? Sure. So if I want to create healing in the world, guess what I have to have is a lot of sickness around me and suffering and difficulty.
Yes.
And so whatever you're going through right now is probably a clear indicator as to what you'll be, if you're willing to grow, if you're willing to do the work of stillness, if you're willing to be present. It's probably a little clue as to what the future holds. I have a friend who says it a lot better. He said, God is always preparing you for what he has prepared for you.
Yes.
So whatever's coming,
wow,
like you're in preparation right now for it. So the first layer was I had to heal. That healing has been a long road. It's been a long road. It's not been an easy road. It's been messy. It's been filled with ups and downs. It's been filled with avoidance and struggle and pain, just like any good story. Sure. But at the core of it, I realized I can't keep looking at my parents' example of marriage as my example of marriage. And I think they would say that too. Like, you got to go carve your own way.
Yes.
And that's really scary as a man. Like, that's a scary thing to be like, I'm the leader of this home. And also I have no idea where I'm leading you guys. Like, I've never seen this done before.
Yes.
To your point, I've never seen this. And so I had to come to a place where I said, what's the, in business, we call it MVP, right? The most viable product, or, whatever. What is that like? What is that thing that's going to help us get across? And for me, that's been faith. That's been my relationship with Jesus. Yes. It really has been, man. Like, and I'm unashamed about that. Without him, I don't know. I don't know if I'd be alive. I don't know if I would have the family I have. I don't know if I'd be the father I am today. It's not religion. It's not rhetoric for me. It's truly faith. It's truly a faith-based relationship. And I think he's given me some beautiful gifts of teaching along the way, of restoring my identity. Because really, marriage isn't about seeing what other people did and duplicating it.
No.
That's not it.
No.
It's about understanding who you are and who you're made to be. And it's also a lot about sacrifice, as you know.
Right.
Marriage is a lot about sacrifice. Leading is sacrifice. And what a beautiful gift that we get to do that. I was in the car yesterday. My son, he's 9, and I have a daughter who's 4. And my son was like, Dad, I gotta get home, and I gotta do this, and I gotta do that. And I was like, oh, you get to do that?
Yes.
Oh, you get to go clean that? You get to go get ready for practice? You get, man, that's cool. You got stuff. You got new gear from Amazon that you get to use at practice. And he was like, and he just started laughing because he's like, all right, I got it, Dad. I get the lesson. But man, I get to pioneer through brokenness. I get to serve my family. I get to grow up in a world where I get to sit and have coffee and conversations in a beautiful place like this. There's so many people around the world who are waking up in very different conditions, if they're waking up at all, if they'll make it through the day at all. I get to life, and that's how I'm trying to see everything I do right now. Is I get to do this.
I picked up on some clip the other day that there are, there's 8.3 whatever billion people in the world, but at least I think there's probably more, but at least 300 million that are absolutely in desperate straits. War-torn nations, take your pick. Poverty, slavery, and it's a as you suggest, it's an interesting dichotomy. We are a nation of roughly 300 plus million people who should thank God for our blessings every day. And somewhere in the world, there's 300 plus million people who are completely desperate.
Yeah. Wow.
There's a message in that.
Yes.
And there's an obligation in that message.
Yes.
Which
it's well said.
Very few people have the presence to understand. Brought that right around.
Yes. Well done.
You're
good at this.
No, but you provided the inspiration.
Well, I've been inspired by other people. So like you talk about hard upbringings. I met a woman named Maria, and Maria changed my life. Maria is a single mom taking care of 6 children on less than $3 a day in Nicaragua.
Wow.
And she tried to talk to me in Spanish, and I don't speak any Spanish, so that was our first disconnect. But she invited me into her home, and her home was made up of leftover pieces of garbage from a local landfill.
Sure.
I'd never been on a missions trip. I'd never been overseas to see things. So for me, it was like I'd seen commercials and ads pop up on Instagram or Facebook or whatever.
Right.
But this woman had more faith and more courage in her pinky than I have in my entire body.
Probably more peace.
Oh my gosh. And that's the thing. She had more peace. And I was like, how come she seems so not anxious? Like she seems so, she opened her door, is this rusted door. There's dirt on the outside of the house and dirt on the inside of the home. It was the size of an average American bathroom. She invites my wife and I in. We go out back. You're talking about faith. You're talking about living a life of faith. And she sits us around this little cook fire. And she starts to tell me a story. And that story changed everything for my life. And there's dudes who say stuff like that. But for me, I got on a plane and I was going back to touring. I was in between a 100-city tour at the time. And when I flew back, I knew I would never, it was never about music anymore. It was always about being of service.
That was the turning point?
It was a major turning point from music into speaking.
Wow.
And again, I never wanted the stage. I'm a personality, and I mean this. I don't need that. I don't feed off that. Like coffee and good conversation, that's different. I feed off that. I can
tell.
But not being on the road touring. It's exhausting. It's very tiring. And once you get past the sexy stuff that seems cool, it's not. It's just hard work. It's a grind. And so I'm sitting around this fire with Maria, and she says, Pedro, I have to tell you a story. And she's telling me the story because I asked her a question. I said, was there ever a time in your life where you woke up and you knew I might not eat today? How do you keep going? How do you have faith in the middle of that? And so she tells me the story. She says, as far back as I can remember, every day my mom would wake me up and she'd say, go gather wood, go start a fire. Go gather wood, go start a fire. Every day she did the same thing. And finally one day she goes to her mom and she says, Mom, I got a better idea. She's about 16, 17 years old. How about you go get us some food? And when you know beyond a shadow of a doubt we're going to eat, then and only then does it make sense for me to go gather wood and start a fire. I got to take a machete. I got to go barefoot. I cut my feet up. I got to do this twine thing. It's hours of hauling branches back and forth. Mom, get us food. Then I'll start a fire. And her mom says, baby, you don't understand. The reason we gather this wood and the reason we start this fire is we want God to know that we are counting on him to provide. Wow. We're counting on him to be God. So I'm sitting in a third world setting with a woman who's taking care of 6 children on less than $3 a day, and she's teaching me what it means to have faith.
Yes.
It's action.
Yes.
It's
she
belief.
Took you to school.
Yes, she did. And on that flight home, I was like, I want to be of service. I can feel it. That's what I'm made to do. We got a lot of people and a lot of companies that want to be successful, that want to make a lot of money. Fine, do that. I'm just here to tell you, it will never satisfy you like being of service. It will never. And it doesn't mean they're mutually exclusive. I believe you can be really successful, financially wealthy, but we need a redefinition in the 21st century around wealth. And it's not just money. It's meaning.
With you.
It's service. It's generosity. It's leaving a legacy that's not just about your brand in your face and people recognizing you. And I think the world's hungry for that, man. I really do. I think the world's hungry for it.
It's understanding the obligation.
Yeah. We have a responsibility. You said that.
So you were called to work, to be of service.
Mm-hmm.
But in addition to that, you also were drawn to the stage
Yeah.
by that obligation.
Yes.
So
That's right.
Okay, so you're talking to large organizations about culture, about all these things that help them to drive their organizations forward.
Yeah.
At the same time, you have a vision, a mission, and you've delivered hundreds of millions of dollars, which
Yes.
is I gotta say that again because it's extraordinary.
Yeah.
To worthwhile causes all over the world.
Yeah.
How do you balance that?
I get to.
You're 1 foot on one, right?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
It is hard, but that's the I read a book a long time ago. I can't remember the book, but one of the things it talked about is the difference between a polarity and a problem. And so a problem is something you have to solve for, right? You can close the loop of a problem. There's a problem. Well, there's a solution. We just got to figure out what it is. We can close the loop. But a polarity is a tension you have to manage. And I think for me, the stage, not wanting it, not needing it, but also realizing I have a gift that can help and serve and make hundreds of millions of dollars for organizations. I get to do that. That's a tension I get to manage. And sometimes purpose is, inaction. It's like, I'm not going to do that because it serves this thing. But sometimes purpose is action. It's saying, well, I don't want to do this, but it's going to create a greater good in the world. And that's a tension you have to manage. And that's a tension I get to manage. I love it. I hated it for a long time. I truthfully hated it. Now I love it. I think it's a beautiful gift that I get to wrestle through that tension.
I suggest to my friends when it comes to AI, and we could talk about that.
I like that.
Get uncomfortable and stay uncomfortable.
Yeah.
There's your strategy manual.
Yeah.
You hated this work, but in due course, you came to love it. That happens. Is that a thing?
I think I can't. I don't love being on stage. I'm having a real honest conversation with you on this.
I get anxiety sitting on a couch.
Yeah.
I don't know how you go on stage. I'd probably pass out.
Well, the part of stage I don't like is me. It's not.
Okay.
It's not necessarily the stage. I've just been around long enough to see myself, and I don't always like the version of me that feels like he has to dance and perform. That was my addiction. I want to use that word. I use that word very clearly, and I want to define it for a second. So an addiction is anything we use to soothe pain.
Sure.
So I used the stage to soothe my pain. Well, that's a dangerous thing.
Sure.
So the moment I'm getting on stage so that you make me feel more comfortable about my story, or so that you validate my worthwhileness on the planet that we call Earth spinning through the cosmos. Now I'm no longer there to serve you. I'm there to be served. That's dangerous.
Yes.
I'm called to be of service. Well, how do I be of service? Okay. So I started some years back doing some hard work, really getting into my operating system. That's what we do with organizations. Get into my operating system. Let's look at the OS. Let's look at what's going on. And then you start noticing some blockages. You start noticing some things. And you're like, oh, okay, I get to deal with those things.
Yes.
And I've spent years dealing with them. And it came through. I jumped to a corporate thing and thought this was the promised land and realized, oh God, that's not it. Oh, how do I? And I had to go do a lot of deep work. And that work is never done. I'm not a complete thing. I'm not saying that at all. But I do something before I go on stage that I think sums up this idea. Before I go on stage, the whole time before I walk up, you're sitting in the green room or you're backstage or whatever. I have this saying, and I keep saying it over and over out loud under my breath. And while they're introducing you, while they're, the transition's happening, and I say, I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to serve. I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to serve.
Jack, make a note of that one. We got to write that down.
And I just keep saying
that's a good one
over and over, because my tendency is, whether on a podcast or on a thing, it's to show up. I hope Rob likes me. I hope so-and-so likes me. I hope they like, and that's not necessarily bad, because we all have this thing called a primal ache. This is what
Yes.
I've learned. The primal ache is 2 questions. We all fundamentally have it. Everyone has it on the planet, ever lived, will ever live. Primal ache is this: do I matter? Do I belong?
Right.
Companies, think about this. Companies have a primal ache. They want to matter and they want to belong.
Sure.
The company is made up of what? A conglomeration of humans who are all asking the same question every day, every boardroom, every conversation, every contract, every new channel they throw
Right.
up into the world, every new churn idea, every new A/B test, everything is the same primal question.
Yes.
Do I matter? Do I belong? So that's the thing that I had to look at within me. I notice in myself and in my own heart that I'll find my belonging and my mattering from the stage rather than from what I believe is meant to be from my Father, who is the person of Jesus. So I have to deal with that conundrum. And if you're not a person of faith and you're watching, man, you're welcome here. I'm glad you're here. I don't need you to believe what I believe to validate it. I'm glad you're here.
And praise the Lord.
And yeah. And so I am in this place of like, I see that part of me that longs to be liked and wanted and mattered and belong and all of that. And so, man, the work of my life is actually not communication, at least not with the crowd. It's communication with my own heart. And when I'm communicating and I'm going, I am here to serve. Pedro, you're not here to be liked. You find that in God. You find that in connection with men in your life that really know you. You find that with your wife of 15 years. You find that with your beautiful babies. That's who knows you. That's who knows who you really are, the good, the bad, the indifferent, whatever. And so when you can get out of the way, you can be of service. When you can get out of the way and stop making it about you, you can then be of service. And there's some great leaders, by the way, and great companies doing that. I know many of them. Many of them that literally right now come to mind. I'm like, man, he's doing that.
Allow the Holy Spirit to work through you.
Yes.
Allow your gifts to allow.
Yes.
Give yourself the opportunity to share your gifts.
Yeah.
This is what you're talking about.
Yeah. And it's even beyond your gifts. It's sharing you.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yes.
Like my gift is just a reflection of my identity, ultimately.
What you were always intended to do.
Yeah. That's right.
I love that. All right, so let's shift gears.
Let's shift gears. I'm
Right.
here for it.
Now, corporate culture.
Yeah.
Right? It's a mess. All kinds
Can
of
be.
challenges.
Yep.
Coming out of COVID.
Yep.
Return to work. How do you grow an enterprise?
Yep.
Stocks are all-time high.
Yep.
That's great. Anxiety, all-time high. Do I matter? Do I belong? Right? Are these questions being answered?
That's good.
What is the work that you're able to do with these organizations to help them push through?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
It's restoring heart. That's honestly what it is. You know, we came out of COVID. You said it. We came out of COVID and we were all like itching to get back to work. But really what we found, if you paid attention, all of us that paid attention, what we found is that we had this insatiable drive inside of us that was willing to sacrifice family and values on the altar of making money and being valuable to our bosses and being valuable to the KPIs and adding value to the company. I'm not saying that's inherently evil, but if it's first above identity and knowing who we are, it's dangerous. And I would say the breeding ground of anxiety is the gap between knowing who you are and knowing what you're made to do. It's a lot of people that do what they're made to do, but they don't know who they are. They don't know why they're actually doing it. And so there's this anxiety that's incessant that they can't shut off. And so they leave their email on, they leave their phone on, when really they need to open their heart to the idea of like, who am I really beyond this work? So our work as a company is quite literally to multiply wellness in the world. That's what we exist to do. We want to help people live and lead well in that order. There's a lot of people that focus on just leading well, but I want to focus on living well, being well, so that my doing is well.
Is that profitable? Is that profitable for the enterprise? Hey, this is at the
That's
end
a
of the
good
day,
question.
Numbers do matter,
Sure.
right? So, are you able to make the connection between emotional health and a return? This is a challenging question.
Yeah.
A return for the shareholders. How do you make that connection?
I think the connection is it's a series of questions that we have to ask. The most important one is, are you trying to play 9 holes or are you trying to play 18?
Okay.
Right? If you're trying to play 9 holes, don't worry about emotional health. Just go, run, hit the gas pedal. Just
Sure.
break stuff, fix
Yes.
stuff, do stuff.
Yes.
Get the money, get the market, go win, go take the thing by the horns. But if you want to play 18 holes, if you want to build something that's going to last and stand the test of time, well, then you better pay attention to the heart.
Wow.
You can avoid. So think of it this way. If you're a company or you're a leader listening to the podcast, here's the way I would say think of it. Think of the emotional realm as the realm at which we source every business deal. Everything a company does is sourced from the heart. Why? Because it's ran by humans. Okay, well, that's a liability in and of itself, so we should pay attention, even if it was just for that. Second, if we suppress the heart, historically, whether this is the domain of science, psychology, spirituality, it doesn't matter, or even just workplace culture, if we suppress the emotional realm, guess what happens? It's like a beach ball. You push the beach ball down inside that pool of water, and you push it. I'm going to get that thing down to 10 feet. What's going to happen at some point? That thing's going to do one of two things. Number one, best case scenario, it's going to shoot up with an equal but opposite, return, right?
Yes.
It's going to shoot up through the air. That's a problem. That's how companies go under. That's how CEOs fall apart. That's when embezzlement happens or shadiness with money. Just look at
that never happens. I don't
multiple.
know what you're talking about.
I could cite multiple companies, but I don't want to throw shade on anybody. So that happens. Or the worst one happens and the ball bursts at the bottom.
Yeah.
And it just floats to the surface as a shell of itself. And it can never do what it was made to do.
Wow.
It's true for humans. It's true for companies. So is it profitable? You want to play 9 holes? Maybe not. Maybe avoid the heart. Maybe you can get away with it for a while. But maybe the bigger question is, do I want to lead something that is healthy? That's the bigger question. The honest thing, my wife says it all the time. She says, healthy things grow and growing things change.
Sure.
We should always be changing. We should always be trying to grow healthier.
Yes.
Health is absolutely connected to success. It's absolutely connected to the ROI. It's absolutely, you have a healthy culture, you have healthy individuals, you have healthy people. Now, there's a bigger conversation, in my opinion, around how much of that responsibility is put on a company. I think that's a fair conversation. But I think we live in a time where because so many people find their worth and value in what they do, not who they are, in what they do, that we as leaders have to see that as a responsibility to feed them, not just on a money level, not just on a here's your 401k, not just on pension, but actually feed them on a heart level. Why? Because they are like us.
Right.
They have feelings. They have emotions. And I believe feelings are the passcodes to our heart. I believe our heart is what sources all of our business deals. So you better get really fluent in the language of the heart if you want to 10x, 100x your company. And the irony is it's happening. It's happening. There's many case studies where this is happening. The thing that we've been avoiding for a long time because it seems dumb and it seems like psychology and it seems like medicine or it seems like whatever is actually, I think, becoming the front of the conversation. And our company exists to do that. We want to be at the front of that conversation.
No, I don't normally do this.
Okay.
And we don't, I would agree, we don't want to throw shade. But I do love to recognize heroes.
Oh, yeah.
Those who are not afraid to stand up, stand out.
Yep.
Are you able to name a few executives, a few organizations that should be recognized for their courage to take that stand and perhaps have already started to receive benefit from those decisions? I don't know. I don't want to put you on the spot.
I think there's so many.
Okay.
Like, honestly, I really do. And a lot of it came through the deficit of the head, like the CEO realized, oh gosh, like what got us here was a lot of my like drive and determination.
Yes.
I wasn't super connected to my heart. And they're going like, we kind of need some of that. Let me bring some people in, right? We kind of live in a world where the old way was the CEO kind of was everything and did everything and was supposed to, and now you got CEOs who are like, oh, I can't be everything. I'm just a human. Like, we're gonna get this consultant, we're gonna get this org over here. I think there's several. So just leaders,
no
companies.
pressure off the top. This
is easy, bro. This
Right.
is easy for me.
Okay.
I'm telling you, this is easy. Dave Ramsey.
Okay.
I think he's doing an incredible job. I told you a little bit on our call.
Yeah.
Like I got to spend some time around him and his team. I was there for a season of life, getting to work with them and in a capacity, and I learned a lot about organizations fighting for emotional health and their willingness to invest in their leaders to be healthy humans, not just productive humans, right? Scott Harrison, another one, made an organization called Charity Water. I think he does an incredible job to find that balance. Man, there's several. Compassion International, World Vision. These are organizations who are, look, they're doing some of the most important work in the world on the front lines of human trafficking and poverty and unclean water and all these different things. And it's like they could easily be like, yo, we're gonna grind, we're gonna crush it. And it's like, man, we're gonna be healthy. We need to be healthy. How can you propagate health through your company and not have healthy team members?
Right.
Like the whole thing you sell is health. The whole thing you sell is wholeness. Like, so yeah. Are any of these people in organizations perfect? No, they're human beings. But I think they're people that I've gotten to see firsthand that are leading into like, what does it mean to be healthy? What does it mean for us to be wholehearted? What does it mean for us to lead movements that matter? And I got a few others that come to mind. I got friends doing some amazing work in this space as well.
No, here's a loaded question.
Sure.
Based on the ones you mentioned.
Yeah.
The Dave Ramsey and Compassion International, the Scott
Harrison. Yeah.
Are there what are the common threads between those organizations? And before you answer, just if it please the court, these are profitable and successful enterprises.
Very.
Making their numbers. Happy boards.
Yes.
Happy shareholders.
Yeah.
Okay. Happy shareholders.
Yeah.
I want to make sure we establish that.
That's right.
But also healthy organizations.
Yeah.
And as you suggest, healthy organizations change.
Yeah.
There's a second part of that.
Healthy things grow and growing things change.
Healthy things grow, growing things change.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So beyond that,
Mm-hmm.
are there additional commonalities that those individuals, those executives, or those organizations share?
Yeah, all of them. The admission to get it wrong. Like, we got it wrong. It's contrast, right? It's light and dark.
The being willing to fail or being willing to admit failure?
Both. Being willing to try and get it wrong. Being willing to try, get
From
it
the
wrong,
top.
and name it. Yeah.
Not name someone else.
Right. Not blame.
It's their fault.
Yeah.
Not my fault.
Yeah.
Never
Totally.
seen that happen.
No, I've never seen that happen. No, I think it's the admission to try. I think it's the admission
Really?
to name it. You know, back in the day in the NBA, you remember those days where a dude would foul and he'd be like, "Yeah, that was me.
Well,
I fouled him."
I'm from Detroit, so
Oh, okay.
we had the Bad Boys, and
Yeah,
they
y'all
beat the
didn't-
crap out of Michael
Yeah.
Jordan. And on behalf of
That's
the Bad
right.
Boys, I'm sorry.
Dude, I remember that. Yeah, no one owned anything, and anyway, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yes,
But, the NBA as a whole back then was very like, Akeem Olajuwon would foul somewhere. You go further back than that. But, guys would be like, yo, I fouled him. And I think that's what great leaders do. They play the game. They play the game hard, and they mess up. And they go, hey, that's a foul. That's on me. I got that wrong. And I don't always have the resources. So that's the next one. I don't always have the resources to even know what health looks like. I just know we can't stay like this. Why? Because growing things change. Healthy things grow, growing things change. I know we got to change. I don't even know what that means, but I know we got to change. I just sat with a company I told you off camera recently, an amazing company doing amazing work in the world. And they were like, we don't even know what the problem is. Like, we don't know what's broken. We just know something's broken. And that takes a lot of courage, man, to like say that.
right. On the record.
Whether you're a company or whether you're a father or whether you're, an entrepreneur, whatever, it's like just to name. And again, we were talking about speaking engagements. Like, I've spoken to like, what'd you say? Like
Millions.
Yeah, you were saying that about
Add
me.
them up.
A lot of people. But really, I've just gotten more chances to fail. Like, that's how I see it. It's like, I just got to fail more, which means when you fail more and you fail faster, you get to find your voice and your footing and your language. Dude, I copied all my mentors at first when I first started. I didn't know how to speak. I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, I'm going to be like Reggie Dabbs. I'm going to be like this guy. I'm going to be like that guy. I'm going to be like that preacher. And I just would follow it. I'm unashamedly saying that. And sometimes that's what it takes. At first, you kind of have to copy. And then eventually you start finding yourself in that. And you're like, wait a minute, I think I've got my own things and my own voice and my own creativity. But all of it comes with the admission of being like, I was getting it wrong for a long time. And I don't want to keep doing that because I want to grow and I want to change. I want to get better.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have a new book. You have a published book and a new book coming out.
Yes.
We have to talk about that.
Let's do it.
Tell me about this new book.
The Purpose Mandate.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Living Beyond the Prison of Self.
What does that? I have an idea, but I want to hear it from you.
You're gonna have to read it. No, I'm just kidding.
Right?
That's
I
what
know,
everybody
right?
says. You're gonna have to read it.
What does that mean?
Living beyond the prison of self. I think. Well, the implication is right that When life is about us, you're in a prison. You're in a prison. And I can back that.
I was afraid you were going to say that.
I can back this. Okay, so
I'm living it.
let's go to like popular long time ago psychology. You remember Abraham Maslow?
Oh yes,
right?
Hierarchy of needs.
Hierarchy of needs. That thing took the business world by storm.
Yes,
absolutely, right? It was like your most basic needs of food, water,
yes.
Blah blah blah, and then maybe it's like education, roof, whatever, and then it kind of keeps going up.
Self-actualization.
And it ended with self-actualization. Do you know that he put out a second iteration of that?
No. Wait a second.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to rock my world.
Yeah. In the business world, if you're a company or you're leading a company or you're a part of a company in any way, you work at a company, you need to hear this. This is what's crazy. This is in the purpose mandate. A lot of people don't know he put out a second iteration. So iteration 1 ended. So everybody listening, just recap, most of you probably already know this, but it's a pyramid, right? So the pyramid ends at the very top, self-actualizing. That's what it means, to become fully yourself, unleash the purpose within you, like da-da-da-da. That made for like great corporate, like attractional language.
Yes.
And the corporate world was like, we love this. Now psychology, we can back it with psychology. Come work at Kodak.
Right.
If you did, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Come work at Blockbuster. If you did, I'm so sorry.
Oh,
but they use this as like a tactic and a tool to attract top talent and to keep them and retain them. I'm not saying it's bad, right? But my man put out a second iteration of the pyramid. And no one is talking about it. Still to this day, no one talks about it.
wow.
Why? Because it didn't fit our egocentric way of doing it. We didn't have a place for it. So Maslow goes and spends time on an Indian reservation. And while he's on the Indian reservation, he starts noticing something like the happiest chiefs, the happiest leaders among them, the oldest, the wisest. He would sit with them and he would talk, and he started noticing a pattern. They weren't talking about becoming fully myself, and that's the highest service of good I can give away to the world. And so he put out a new iteration, a second one, the second pyramid, and in it, it doesn't end with self-actualization. It ends with something that he called transcendence.
Okay.
Which is living beyond yourself.
Wow. Wait.
So there's two types of companies in the world. There's a type of company that says, come be fully you, come join this movement. This is what we're doing. This is what we're about. Come bring you here and we're going to just crush it. It's going to be amazing. Fitness companies and the list goes on. Like awesome companies, good companies.
Which is kind of self-serving.
It is.
On behalf of the corporation.
It is. Yes, absolutely. Especially because it's in alignment with what we're trying to do conveniently. But then there's this other type of company, and we're seeing it with some of the leaders and some of the movements that I'm talking about, and there's plenty more in the world that I could reference as well, where they're about transcendence, living beyond the prison of you, living beyond the prison of your interest and what makes you feel good and what makes you come alive and what makes you. We live in a culture that is so unbelievably self-centered.
Yes.
Unbelievably self-centered.
What's in it for me?
What's in it for me is the bottom line.
Yes.
That's only 9 holes.
Yes.
We're meant to play 18.
Sure.
So the back 9 of my life, I want to be all about giving myself away to meaningful things.
Right.
And with that, I got to be very strategic. I've got 2 children. I've got 1 marriage. I don't plan on having another one. Hope she doesn't. I plan on being in this for the long haul. Okay, well, how am I going to live beyond the boundaries of myself? That just sounds crazy. Like what about, and then you go into all the things we're concerned with. And this is where I think the person of Jesus is unbelievable.
Yes.
He lived the transcendent life.
Provided
and
the model.
you could argue he's the happiest person, God, to ever walk the planet.
Tough to argue with, yes.
And here's the even crazier part. Again, not to get into theological discussion because I know it's not why we're here, but let me just say this. He lived a collaborative life. There's something about that when you talk about transcendence. He collaborated with disciples, with other people. He had a very limited runway. You talk about a short runway to find buy-in, to get stakeholders.
Yes.
It's limited. The mission, the biggest one that's ever happened, according to him, right? Saving the world, no big deal.
Right.
Of all error, all wrong, all sin.
This.
Yeah, no problem, guys. I'm going to hang out for about 1,000 days. 1,095 days was like 3 years. 1,095 days with some teenage dudes who don't even believe me half the time. Who don't trust me half the time. They're cutting people's ears off on my behalf. They're horrible for the brand, if there ever was one. They think it's all about a brand that I'm not falling into.
Yes.
I'm not doing what they want me to do.
Questioned him at every point along the way.
Oh my gosh. Like, you talk about frustrating, and then he dies at the hands of the people he says he created.
Yes.
Wait, what? And what killed him? What hung him up on that cross? Kindness? Goodness? Mercy? Justice?
Yes.
All the things that we all like, that's what the world's all about.
Yes.
That's what. But he lived transcendently, and he did it in the face of the most extreme opposition. There's something about living beyond yourself that is more satisfying than living for yourself. And I think the invitation of the 21st century is you can have it all, but do you really want it all? Is that really what you want?
Right.
Maybe what you want is to matter and belong. I found that in my relationship with Jesus. So now my work is not an extension of me trying to earn identity. My work is an extension of my identity.
Right.
I'm not living to create one. Like, right, I'm not here today to be like, we'll create the brand. Let's talk about the book. Like, cool, let's talk about it. But I'm not here for that.
Right.
I'm here to be of service.
Yes.
And there's a freedom in that, man, in our world today where everything's about the brand, everything's about the growth, everything's about the stakeholders, everything's about the ROI. And the irony is, I think some of the most successful companies in time, 18 holes, will prove to be the ones who lived beyond themselves. And I think that's what people want to be a part of. I think that's what stakeholders get involved in companies for, not just to make money. They get involved to be a part of something transcendent, something big, something awesome, something successful. And I think how you define that, how you define success, is a direct line to this internal part of who you are. And if you don't sit with that part of who you are, it's full circle, then you never know what. Like, there's a guy, old newspaper writer. His name's Don Harold. Nobody knows Don Harold. I found this when I was young, and it was in the time when I thought baseball was my future. I got injured, and I read this, and he says, unhappiness is not knowing what you want and killing yourself to get it.
Yes, I could see that.
And I think the opposite of that is knowing exactly what you want and being willing to give yourself to that cause, whatever that is.
Whether you achieve it or not.
Whether you achieve it or not. Because there's a beautiful work and a work that has no end.
Yes.
There's a beautiful work, and life has really no end. I mean, I'm going to pass on life into my children and their children, and it will continue going when I'm gone. What's the thing you leave behind? Like, we're all thinking about accumulation. Self-actualization, you could define as accumulation.
Sure.
But
Yeah,
I think
yes.
transcendence, you define as, man, I want to give my life away to something bigger. And the irony is like, you can see it in my hands, accumulation. I want to
Yes.
give my life away. When you're open-handed, do you know how much more can flow through your life?
Yes.
Resource-wise? So the irony is the accumulation of things, well, it's limited. Now it's finite. It's actually finite because it's a
Dead
matter of
Sea.
what can fit into that thing.
Yes.
And so eventually you have to like open your hands and be like, man, what does God have for me to be and to do? And I think those are the two most important questions we could ask. Who was I made to be, and what am I made to do?
Can I? We're breaking new ground.
I like that. We're pioneering.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of pioneering in this episode.
Okay.
I don't normally do this, but can I give you a challenge?
I love challenges.
Because let me tell you something that bothers me.
Okay.
And we'll wrap it up with this, because this is a strong finish.
This is good.
I need to get that book. DM us. Maybe we can get you an autographed copy.
Hey, that'd be cool.
No promises. But what really bothers me are servant leaders. Because that moniker, and don't even get me started on LinkedIn.
I like
But that moniker, servant leadership, is thrown out like bubblegum. And it always bothered me in the past, because my first inclination was always to say bullshit. And forgive me for swearing.
No, you're good.
Sometimes it's warranted. It's a podcast and we could do these things.
Yeah.
But I always held back because I wasn't able, if I had called them on it, they would have asked me to prove it.
Oh, wow.
And point to someone who could be the example that they are intended to model. And you, my friend, are one of those examples.
Wow.
You put the nail right on the head. But
That's crazy.
here's my challenge to you.
Okay, I'm ready.
Speaking, and let me put my corporate hat on.
Okay, I like that.
Does there exist a certification in the world that someone must apply for and must earn in order to be able to use that label, servant leader?
Ooh.
Because it's I think it's been abused to the point of becoming a cliche.
Yeah.
And that's tragic.
Yeah. I think the further we get away from the ethos of that, it becomes really dangerous.
Yes.
Because it's a beautiful idea. It's almost inherently broken when you wear that as a badge of honor.
Yes.
It's like,
Right. It's
wait a minute.
counterintuitive.
Like, it's counterintuitive.
Yes.
Like, I think we're missing it.
You're not supposed to claim it.
You're not supposed to claim.
No.
It's like me being like, hey, I just want to tell you guys, all of you watching, I am very humble. I am super humble. And you're like, I mean.
And very good looking.
Well,
let me tell you how good looking I am.
That's debatable. Yeah.
Yes.
But I think that, I think it can, I think it can go. But again, we live in a self-actualization. Like, we need titles because we're not sure of who we are. And I actually believe this. Like, I think a CEO should never be called a CEO.
Right.
Board seat member.
Yes.
Never be called a board member. Like, no. Like, it's Rob. And Rob has a story.
Yes.
And Rob loves people. And when I think of Rob, I don't think of how much he drives the da-da-da-da-da for our company. It's like, no, man, Rob's an amazing father. Rob's an amazing husband. He is such a good guy.
Yes.
And man, he crushes it at ba 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 ba.
Right.
That's different, right? But we live behind monikers, and I'm not saying get away from all titles. Like, it could probably make for a confusing workplace. The bigger the thing grows, especially. But I do think we should not hide behind titles. Sure. and whatever. But we love measuring
You're
things as
probably right.
humans. We love measuring things.
Yes.
This is something I've learned. The purpose mandate, it's a lot of what the book's about. It's
Yes.
like, okay, cool, measure things. Are you measuring the right things?
Right.
Like, it's the ladder on the wall, right? Like, is it up against the right wall?
Yes.
There's a book about, I think it's Arthur Brooks. He wrote a book called The Second Mountain. I don't know if you've ever read it.
No.
Oh, it's so good. Arthur's just like such a great thinker, and I'm following a lot of his stuff. And he just put out another book. I could probably talk more about his books than mine because a lot of his thinking is informing my thinking. But he talks a lot about happiness in the corporate world, and you need to get him on the podcast. And I just think he's done a really good job of going like, are we even climbing the thing that we want?
Right.
Like, if unhappiness is not knowing what you want and killing yourself to get it, that's a dangerous thing. You got to sit with like, what do I even want? And so the titles are a reflection of sometimes of like wanting the wrong thing. If the title is what you want, if servant leadership is what you want, then you should never have to, if it's truly a desire of your heart, like, you should never have to put that on your
right
LinkedIn profile.
I stand corrected.
I'm a
Pedro.
I am
got
a
me.
servant leader.
Yes.
It's like, how about just serve?
Yes.
Like, how about do that?
That's the best response.
Just do it.
How about just serve?
Nike said it best.
That's much better than
Just do it.
much better than my initial response.
And that's harder because
but-
that means we got to own our stuff, the good, the bad, the ugly.
I tell you, this has been great.
Well, I hope so.
Now, if folks want to learn more about Pedro LaTorre,
Sure.
how do they find out?
The easiest way is pedrolatorre.com. My company is called Brave Work. You can look at bravework.com. No O. We couldn't afford
We'll
it.
put all the links in the caption.
Okay, sweet. So that's the easiest way. pedrolatorre.com. Come hang. Find me on Instagram, social media, whatever it is. I kind of loathe all those places, if I'm being honest with you, but they are really great connection points
Yes.
to get to know people and serve people. We have an amazing company we have purpose guides, like actual coaches that we certify. We just certified our first line of coaches yesterday, 9 people all over the country, from Hawaii all the way down to South Carolina and
Wow.
everything in between. And we got more right behind them. And so helping with emotional health, corporate health, helping leaders grow.
When does the book come out?
The book officially comes out in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, which is crazy exciting. This
The
book
Purpose
was
Mandate.
Yeah, it was scary. After my first book, The Middle Seat, I didn't want to write books anymore. So I was
Sure.
like, this is hard. Like, no
Yes.
one talks about how hard this is. But this one felt like I had to, because I think there's so much conversation right now in culture around purpose, and everyone's using that word a lot. I see it all the time on posts and this, and I just think it's getting muddy fast. It's like,
Yes.
whoa, it's getting muddy. Hold
Yes.
on, let's define what purpose is. And I can define purpose in like one word now. Like, that's how much I feel like I'm passionate about it. But it's so opposite of what I see
What's that
everywhere.
word?
Healing.
Okay.
You're not ready to receive what you were made to do until you know who you are, and you don't know who you are until you heal from who you're not.
Man,
Period. Period. That's the work. That's the work of our life, Rob. It's to heal. It's to get back to who
You're
we're made to
living
be.
rent free in my head now.
This is what we're made for,
Yes.
man. We're made for that. So
Yes.
it's not what we do.
Yes.
Chadwick Boseman has a whole thing on this before he passed. the Black Panther himself, and he talked about this in a commencement speech. I'll end with this thought. This is so good because he said it so good. But he basically is just like, it's not a job. It's not a vocation. It's not a career. He's like, you'd be better off finding purpose than finding any of those other things. And which makes you go, well, junk. Like, well, then what is purpose? If it's not a job, if it's not a career, if it's not a loved one, if it's not like, what is purpose? And it's healing. It's getting back to who was I made to be before I was told what to be by my mom, by my dad, by my family, by my friends. None of those are bad. You can see traces of them sometimes in all those things. But stillness, getting curious, that's the bravest work we'll ever do in our lives. And Blaise Pascal has a quote. He says, all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to be alone, period. That's the mic drop. Blaise Pascal with the mic drop a long time ago.
Yes.
And it's true. Getting
That's
still,
awesome.
getting quiet. We're all running around trying to build identity. Well, maybe it's already in there. Like maybe the blueprints of your future are just waiting for you to sit with them and let them talk to you a little bit. And that's what the Purpose Mandate is all about. It's a journey on everything I went through therapy, counseling, leaders, mentors, amazing world-class people. Maria, the book starts with Maria's story. All of that put into a mandate. What is it? Like, what is it? And it's healing. It's coming back home. That's the essence of purpose. It's coming back home. It's scary. And I'll tell you, it's not for the faint of heart. If you want to keep running on automatic, stay doing your thing. And if you don't want disruption in your life, don't read the book. Because this book, it starts off and it says, and I'll just tell you, this book will ruin you. It will absolutely ruin you.
And I'm here for it.
Yeah. Okay. Let me know. Let me know how it goes.
I can't wait. I tell you what, I can't wait to watch this episode.
Oh, that's cool, man. I appreciate that.
This is a barn burner.
I mean, I hope it helps in some way.
I think you delivered.
Okay. Well, that's good.
On behalf of the Unboxing the Office, thank you.
Yes, my honor.
On behalf of our sponsor, Hot Logic, thank you. This is fantastic. I don't know about you, but I can't wait for that book.
I'm excited.
That's the episode.